Well, I can say, first of all, man, like, if you would have told me when I was y'all's age that I'd be here, like, speaking testimony to y'all, like, even if you would have told me 2 months, 3 months ago, man, like, it's crazy how quickly, like, God can change your life and how quickly He can change your heart and bring you out of situations that never in a million years do you think you could have ever came out of. Like, a little background on me, like my senior year of high school, like a couple months before I graduated, I was diagnosed with severe depression and severe anxiety disorder. And like those two things together, like depression, I'm sure a lot of you know what depression is. I mean, obviously depression is like basically nothing makes you happy. Like nothing, you don't want to do anything, all you want to do is sleep. Like, you just don't want to live, basically. And like anxiety on the flip side is like the complete opposite. Like, you can't stop thinking. You can't stop like thinking of all the worst scenarios that could possibly happen in your head. So like, they're two opposite things, but like you put them together, that's like a recipe for disaster, man. And like, that's something I've struggled with ever since then. And it's been a long 5 years, man. And I'll say, like, throughout that time, like, I try to grow in faith, and like, I failed God so many times, but, you know, He doesn't hold that against you. All He ever wants is you. He just wants you at all times, and, you know, He died on the cross for us to be able to, so we could be forgiven for our sin. So that's one thing. Never hold against yourself things you've done. Never hold against yourself the times you've sinned, because you're already forgiven. All you have to do is ask for that forgiveness. And that's just so mind-blowing when you think about it, man. It's like, why would you ever be ashamed of the love of Jesus Christ when all He ever wants to do is for you to love Him? And He loves you so much. And it's just until you finally feel that happiness in your heart. I know as when like at y'all's age or young, you hear all the time people talk about the true happiness of Jesus. Until you finally feel it for the first time, until you finally give everything up to Him, that sense of happiness is nothing you will ever take for granted. It's something you can never, like, it's undescribable. And normally, like, I've never done anything like this before, man. So like, normally I'd be nervous because, I mean, it's the first time I've ever done this before, but man, like, why would I be nervous? All I'm trying to do is share the love of Jesus, and to have the opportunity to share with somebody a life-changing experience, and to share with somebody the love that can completely change your life and completely change your heart. Like, why would I be nervous? Like, why would I be scared? Like, it's the most incredible feeling, man. And like, in terms of my depression and anxiety and stuff, man, like, the amount of pain I've felt emotionally throughout times these past 5 years, man, it's nothing like I can ever begin to describe. The amount of pain, the amount of times, man, I cried myself to sleep in the past 5 years. The amount of times I just laid on my floor, man, and just cried and cried and cried because I didn't know what else to do. The amount of times in the middle of the night I would call my mom in my room while sitting there crying because I didn't know what else to do. The amount of times I told my mom, man, when she asked me if there's anything she could do, I told her I just wish I was dead. The amount of times I told my mother that I just wish I was dead. I wish I could put it into words the amount of pain that I felt. And I tried, throughout these past 5 years, man, I tried everything. I tried absolutely everything in this world to find happiness. I've sought everything in the world to find happiness, and nothing helped. Every single time I thought I got better, I didn't. And the same pain, man, would come back over and over again. And every time, like, I would tell myself, I'm so weak. Like, I thought I would never have to go through this again. And every time I would just question God. I would question God, like, why are you putting me through this? Why would you give me this pain? And that brings me to another point, man. Like, no matter, like, if you guys, at any struggle you go through, I fully believe every single one of us go through it. Well, number one, when we're at the lowest of our lows, that's when you get the closest to God. That's when you need God the most. And so many people, even me included, over the past 5 years, man, like, when I got to the lowest of my lows, I just gave up on God. And that's when you need Him the most. That's when you need to seek Him the most. That's when you grow the most. And even if you throw Him away and just discount Him like I did numerous times in the past 5 years, no matter what, His grace is there to save you every single time. And man, like I said, there is nothing in this world that could have brought me from the state that I was in, from the emotional low that I was in. And I know you probably hear people talk about depression and anxiety and feeling like down emotionally, but until you actually experience it for the first time, it is something, and I know it's such a cliche statement, but like, you genuinely would not ever wish the amount of emotional pain that I felt on anybody. The amount of pain, the amount of times, I mean, just the fact that I can sit here and say that, like, well, first of all, it shows God's grace. I'm here. I'm here. I tried everything. And yep, I mean, from worldly things you might find temporary senses of happiness, but until I finally, after 5 years of fighting, when you finally give your life to God and you finally give everything up, you just break all your chains, you give everything to Him, it completely changes your heart. And I would not be here to share this. I would not share this if giving my life to God wasn't a life-changing experience, because the amount of happiness I feel in my heart, and if you would have told me 3-4 months ago, 5 months ago, just from giving my life to God, that my heart would go from telling my mother that I wish I was dead to just being so excited just to be able to speak in front of youth, to share the love of God, like, it's absolutely insane. Like I said, I know you probably hear it over and over again from parents, from church leaders, that you don't, like, you'll never find a sense of happiness that you can in the world, the same as you would find once you give your life to God and having a heart full of Jesus Christ. But it's so true, man. And I thought before I gave my life to Christ, I thought I did before, but this time, man, like, I don't wish I could put it into words, man, but just the amount of pain that I felt to go from that to feeling a heart of happiness in the heart of Jesus Christ in such a short amount of time, it's just a testimony to how incredible He actually is. And I know, I guess I can get into this too. You all probably know about my YouTube channel, and it's such a blessing that I get to do something that I enjoy for a living. But about 2 years ago, I was I went to a college ministry for probably the first time, first or second time I went, and I really didn't know anybody. And we were in the middle of worship, and the college pastor came up to me, and he said in the middle of worship that he had a vision that I would be able, I had some type of special ability. He didn't know I was like a youth pastor or what, but I had some type of special ability to interact with the youth. And funny enough, he said that, here I am now speaking to a youth group. But at the time, that's the first time I talked to him, he didn't know anything about it. I was like, oh, this is weird, what the heck? So I kind of discounted it and just didn't think about it at all. I got to thinking, that's when my YouTube channel started to really grow, and I was really able to do it as a job. He told me that, and then within 2-3 months, it went from 30,000 to 50,000 to 70,000 to 100,000 subscribers. And I'm like, what the heck is this? This is a life-changing thing. And the more I thought about it, so I'm like, wow, very few people get to do this as a living. Why me? I'm not worthy. I got to thinking, 95% of the people that watch my videos are y'all's age. It's the youth. It's anywhere from 14 to 18. And I got to think, wow, I have the opportunity now, fast forward 2 years later, to speak to 200,000 people. And the amount of people that might have not heard about the love of Jesus, and the fact that all I have to do is just say little things, like just talk about my testimony, talk about just the love of Jesus. And I was like, man, this makes so much sense. But I always just kind of strayed away from it because, like, I mean, the internet, you know, with the experience that I have, it can be a pretty scary place. Like, there's pretty bad people say some pretty mean things, and I was always scared. Like, I knew the amount of backlash I would get if I ever, you know, came out about my faith. And I let that stray me away for a long time. And finally, back in early February, I was finally like, you know what? I'm going to give it to you, God. Like, I'm going to come out about my faith, and I know this is what I was called to do. I mean, it's right in front of me. Like, I know exactly what you want me to do. So I finally came out about my faith, and it was incredible, the reception I got. Obviously, there were some people that were negative about it. But the amount of people that came out and said something along the lines of, man, I just kind of been straying away from my relationship with Christ. I don't really know what to believe anymore, but I just want to thank you for sharing your faith, because you really have helped me think about it in a different light. You've really been able to help me, you know, strengthen my relationship with God. And that's like absolutely mind-blowing. I'm like, God, like, why me? Like, this is insane. Like, I don't feel worthy. And first of all, like, I mean, if God calls you to do something, He's like, you're worthy in His eyes, like, no matter what you're doing. So, but the thing is, man, like, when I finally started to give everything to God and give everything over to Him, the first time I've actually put all my trust in Him, that was the hardest month of my life. Thing after thing after thing kept happening, and I don't know how to explain it other than to say, like, it was the most down month of my life. That month, I probably slept like 70% of my life away, because I just did not want to be awake. That's how afraid of living I was. But I knew that, you know, if I truly had given my life to Christ and given everything up to Him, that I can defeat anything. Like, I can defeat anything the devil throws in my way, because when the devil sees you growing, and the devil sees you, you know, in my case, being able to spread the word of God to 200,000 people, he's going to come at you. He's going to come at you. It's probably the same for you if you haven't, you know, when you finally do give your life to Jesus, odds are, man, the devil's going to come at you and try his best to stray you away. And I know so many times in my past I tried to give my, you know, life to Jesus, but so, like, I guess in the past, you know, I wasn't strong enough. But the thing is, God doesn't hold any of that against you. You know, He's there 24/7, open arms for you to give your life to Him. And that's so incredible. And, like, the amount of times in my past, like, I've been questioned spiritually by other people. I'm not going to, like, name names, but for example, one of the things that really, like, strayed me away, and one of the things that really, you know, was one of the, probably, it was the closest I ever got to God before. And I was asked to speak at a youth group, and I was all excited because I thought about this. I was like, man, God called me to speak to youth. I'm here. I found out this opportunity. Things are finally working. Like, I was so excited. And then, like, a day later, the person that asked me to speak at the youth group, it's pretty good. It was like 50 people, 50, 60 people at the youth group. So I was nervous, man, like, just like this. Like, never done anything like that before, but I was so excited. Like, finally, I can do what God called me to do. And like a day later, she comes back and she's like, I talked to so-and-so, the leader of the youth, and they really are questioning about you. They really are questioning that you would say the right things. They really, she was asking what I would talk about, like, she was wanting me to say the wrong thing. And that was, like, basically she told me, like, they didn't think I was spiritually good enough. And that, like, to have a church leader, like, tell me that, I was like, what the heck? Like, this is dumb. So, like, that really, really, really strayed me away from my faith. But like I said, man, like, even when you give up on God, He never gives up on you. 24/7, like I said, man. All you have to do is just ask for Him to enter your heart. And that's so crazy. Like, I know, being a Christian isn't always the easiest thing. Like, there's always people out there trying to bash you, say negative things about you. But man, at the end of the day, like, Jesus died for you. He died on the cross for you. He went through more pain and more suffering that your mind can even comprehend. The very least we can do is try and spread His love. Like, what is negative people and negative words towards what you're saying in terms of spreading the love of Jesus? What does that have to do? Or what, like, that does not override the fact that Jesus went through way more suffering than you ever could for just having bad words said about you for being a Christian trying to share love. Like, just once you finally give your life to Jesus, man, like I said, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be wanting just to spread the love of Jesus if it didn't completely change my heart. The fact that I went from the state that I was in to the happiness that I feel in my heart now took an absolute, complete miracle. But the good thing about Jesus, He performs miracles. So all I can say is, man, like, it's so real. Like, I know growing up, especially at y'all's age, like, I questioned so many things. I questioned so many things about God. I questioned so many things about religion. I didn't know if I believed. I didn't know if am I living a lie? Like, what is this? Like, am I going to live my life and none of this is real? Like, what the heck? The thing is, like, God, He takes on your questions. Like, He doesn't hold at, like, asking, it doesn't hold questions, like, against you. Like, in the Bible, when Jesus was resurrected, He went up, showed all His disciples, the wounds and the holes, and they were all surprised. Wow, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. Well, Thomas in the Bible, like, he wasn't there at the time that Jesus was resurrected and showed up to His disciples and was showing them that He's alive and showing them the wounds and everything. And Thomas, when the disciples told him, Thomas didn't believe him. Thomas was like, that's not possible. I got to see it for myself. So right then and there, somebody in the Bible questioning Jesus. But when Jesus heard about Thomas questioning Him, He went right up to him and He showed him and said, hey, look at me, I'm alive. And right then and there, He shows that He takes on your questions and doesn't hold it against you. And like I said, I know at your age, you might be at the age where you're starting to question things, like, is this real? Like, I would not be here. I would not be spreading the love. I would not be, at the end of the day, man, like, the only reason I'm here, the reason is because I just want to spread the love. And I want, if I could, at a snap of the fingers, man, just every single person on the earth felt the love of Jesus like I do, I would do it in a heartbeat, because it's the most life-changing thing and it's the most incredible thing that I could ever imagine. And like I said, if you're I know, especially once again at your age, like, you might be going through things that you've never gone through before, but I fully believe God puts us through struggles, number one, because we're strong enough, number two, because I believe every single one of us, at the end of the day, just like me, are going to be able to share your testimony to somebody that went through the same exact things that you did. And how awesome is the thought, of helping others that went through the same thing you did. What better than to help other people overcome those same problems that you overcame? Like, at the end of the day, every single one of us is going to be a shining light, for other people. And what an incredible feeling. And once again, man, like, at the end of the day, no matter the sin you've committed in the past, no matter, the amount of times you just threw God away, threw Him out the back door, You know, as many times he gave up on them. The incredible thing about it, man, through his grace, even though he went through more suffering than you ever could imagine, 24/7, man, he's just there for you. He's there for open arms. So, like, I highly encourage, like, any of you, you know, if you haven't fully given your life to Jesus, like, I mean it with every bit of my heart, that it's the most life-changing thing. And like I said, it took it's like the only thing that could have brought me from where I was to this point is a miracle. And like I said, he's the one that can perform miracles. So, like I said, I highly suggest any of you, like, it's so real. Like, it's so real. The love I feel is so real. And I just wish, you know, I just wish every single person on this earth could feel the same love that I do. And it's my mission to make as many people as I can feel this love. So, I don't know how to end this, but I just want to say thank you. And, like, if anybody is going through anything like I explained, like, 100% you can come and talk to me, and I'll pray for you, I'll pray with you, and just know at the end of the day, like, no matter what you're going through, if it's depression, anxiety, or any problem, like, one day you're going to be able to be a shining light for somebody else. You're going to be able to share your testimony. Maybe not like this, maybe just one-on-one, maybe just in a way that we can never imagine, but at the end of the day, man, we're all going to be able to share our testimony and help other people, and God wouldn't put you through anything that He knows that you couldn't handle. Like, every single one of us is strong enough. Every single one is. But, so like I said, like, if there's anything you need me to pray for, like, 100% come up to me. Nothing for me to say, but I probably, from the time I was like, a baby, to probably, how old was I then?
What? When you wrote that note, that was probably 3 years ago.
So about 19, 20. The amount of times I actually listened in church from the time I was a baby to the time I was probably 20. Maybe I can count on my hand how many times. I don't even know. I know it's such an awful thing to say, but as 20 years, I had the opportunity to hear about the love of Jesus every single Sunday, and I listened maybe 5 times throughout my whole entire life, and the opportunity about probably 500 times. But once again, man, the power in it all is the fact that Jesus forgives you for every little bit of that. Like, all it takes, even after those 20 years of me just 20 years of me not even giving God a thought, like, if you're in the decision of in a split second, you want to give your life to Christ, that all can change through His grace in a split second, man. That's just so powerful. The fact that you can completely ignore Jesus for 20 years after He suffered more than anything we can ever, like, nothing we can ever imagine. He died. Like, He died for us. And I can ignore it for 20 years and just a split second change my life. And it just shows His love, shows His grace, and it's so real. And it's so real. Another thing I want to talk about, I'm glad you were talking, because I was trying to think about what I hadn't said, is I encourage you, something that will really change things for me and really help me is, growing up, I never had community, as in I never had friends that never had close friends that really were on fire for God. I really never had close friends or friends in general, really, that had the same longing for Christ that I do now. And that changed. I finally got involved with the community and have grown in relationships with some awesome people, man. And to have people with you there in community to be able to pick you up in your slack and be able to just to have friends, man, friends that you truly love, that share the same love of Jesus, that share the same longing for spiritual growth. It's such a game changer, and I highly, suggest, you're in the right place for that.
Right here, it's in His Word. It's here for you. You just have to open your eyes to see it.
And
it took me almost 23 years took me almost 23 years for the first time, because I truly gave my life to Jesus. I can genuinely say with 100% honesty in my heart that I'm happy for the first time. And it's all because of Jesus and His grace, and it's the most incredible thing. Like, how incredible is it that if you had not given your life to, you could have been living the worst possible life for, y'all are probably 17, 18. Y'all could have been living the worst possible life up to this date, not accepted Jesus once in your life, and tonight, if you just gave your life to Jesus, just a split-second decision to truly give your life to Jesus, and like she said, we're not promised tomorrow. If after 17 years, every day after this point, you lived the worst possible life and gave your life to Jesus just now, and you let Him die, His grace, no matter what, all the struggles He went through, dying on the cross for you, and you still didn't live for Him up to this point, and you leave today and say something was to happen, gave your life right before you left, you spend your eternity in heaven. Like, how incredible is that thought? It's like His grace is, like, it's so overwhelming. And I know I've said it probably 20 times, but like, just the amount, the 3-month difference, man, in my heart. Like, I just want to share it with the world. Like, I wish words can explain it, man. But like they were saying, like I said, once you give your love to if you give your heart to Jesus, if you haven't yet, and you feel that happiness, you'll understand what we're saying, and it will be the most incredible thing you've ever felt. You'll sense the sense of happiness you'll feel is something you've never felt, and never even dream of. Just the idea of just breaking all your chains, giving everything to Him, believing in everything He has planned for your life. Everything that He has planned is more than we could ever imagine. And just giving that up to Him, it's just such a life-changing decision, man. And once again, if you haven't given your life to Jesus, I recommend it. Like, it's the greatest thing. Nothing even comes close.
And it's not even just you too. There's people around me. I know there are people in my life that need to hear this message. That I wish knew right now how much they were loved by God, and how much that God wants them to be His follower as well. And so when you give your life to Christ, then you have the opportunity. It's not just a thing you have to do, but the opportunity to share that love with others. And that's probably one of the most joyful things that I will ever experience in my life, is sharing that. And so you probably can think of people in your head that need to hear this. And so it's not just you, but it's something that you get to go share with others.
The camera, like, it's weird, but like, the idea behind it, like, the fact that I can feel myself giving a testimony and be able to share it to so many people, and no matter how much I get judged, no matter how many negative things are said, if it can touch one heart out of, I don't know how many, potential 200,000 people, it can touch one of those 200,000 people's hearts, like, every little bit is worth it. If I can just give one person to just be able to feel the love in their heart that I do, it's all worth it. Like, no matter what anybody says negative about me, no matter how much gets talked about me, like I said or during my testimony, like, what does it matter? Like, none of that compares to the suffering that Jesus felt when he died for us on the cross. He died for us and suffered. I can take some people saying some bad things about me when I'm trying to share His love. So, like,
And you can too. You can take it too, because nothing.
Yeah, just start. Don't feel like just because I make YouTube videos, like anybody out there, anybody can have a testimony. Anybody can help share the love of Jesus. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You don't have to have a following. Anybody, to your family, to your friends, to a random person. For the first time ever, it was the most incredible thing. The other night, like, I was getting my hair cut, just some random lady, and we just sat there and had a conversation the whole entire time about Jesus. And if you told me that 3 months ago I was going to have a conversation with a stranger about the love of Jesus, man, like every person you come into contact with every single day is a possible chance for you to share your love of Jesus and share the love of Jesus. And that's a possible chance every single day for you to change somebody's life. Because there's nothing more there's nothing you can do more for a person than share the love of Jesus with them.
Before we close with prayer, I am going to see if Samuel will give you opportunity, if you have a question, hold your YouTube questions, and unless you're relating it to his spiritual growth or the platform God has given him. I know some of you have some YouTube questions, but we're going to do this before prayer, and if you have a question about YouTube.
Like, look, man, I'm not perfect. God doesn't want perfect. He wants you. No matter what you are, He wants you. I'm still going to mess up. I'm still going to sin. We all are. But that is where His grace comes into play once again, man. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect. Like she said, don't feel like you're too far. He doesn't want perfect. He wants you. So never feel like you've strayed too far away from God. Because that's, like she said, that's impossible. Absolutely impossible, and it's just so amazing.